thank you all so much for joining us today, Friday afternoon, after a productive week at the board, so I hope you will relax and ready to go off to a nice weekend after this event. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much to the members of the panel who are up here with me today. Ambassador Eric Wilson from Sweden, thank you very much for coming. His Excellency Minister Schiller, thank you so much for joining us. David Jackson, our Director of Local Finance for UNCDF, and Julie Carl, the Executive Secretary of UNCDF. And really, today's briefing is a two-part briefing and has two main objectives. Many of you will recall, because I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces from the last session we had, which was on the 2nd of September, the sidelines of the September board session. That one of the outcomes of that event was a request to UNCDF to organize more regular knowledge sharing and lessons learned exercises so that we can, particularly in the context of Agenda 2030, financing for development, and the use of blended finance to bring innovation and financial solutions to the last mile in least developed countries. We were asked to share what we're learning as we go so that we can really have a community of learners around what's happening in this area of last mile finance and making finance moving forward. And in several of the last sessions that we've had with you, the member states, we have discussed one of our flagship initiatives, which is the Local Finance Initiative. And we think that the Local Finance Initiative, which focuses on the role of local governments in driving more dynamic and engaged local economies that support household engagement, that support women's economic empowerment, that provide the infrastructure backbone for how communities, localities, and households can benefit from national growth patterns, but also can be major contributors to those national growth patterns. And the Local Finance Initiative has just reached its the end of its first phase, and we have a very interesting lessons learned document that we're sharing with everybody here. And so today, the first part of today's briefing is really to talk about what have we learned through this initiative, which has been piloted. It is at the stage of being able to scale now in Tanzania. What have we learned from this about the role of innovation and the needs to get to scale when we're working with local finance and blended finance, public-private partnership? And the second part of today's discussion will be, so how do we then take those lessons and how does that then generalize into the larger UNCDF business and financing model? What implications does it have for our ability as an organization to bring the larger array of innovations that we work on up to scale? And how can you expect to see a conversation about that in the context of the midterm review? So I'll be talking to you, assisted by our delegate from Sweden, talking to you about the financial picture for UNCDF, which has a great deal to do with our ability to take innovation to scale, what some of the limitations and opportunities are for our financial framework in a very brief moment on the midterm review. And we hope to be able to assure as much give and take as we can manage in the space of an hour and 15 minutes. So first, over to David. David will moderate the first part of the discussion, and then they'll come back to me after the discussion on the finance initiative. So thank you very much, David. Over to you.
Thank you very much indeed, Judith, and I hope you all have a copy of this book. I'm speaking to this book, and there are copies out and at the front. So, as Judith mentioned, I will briefly take you through what we've learned from the Local Finance Initiative, and then ask His Excellency Ambassador Schiller to comment from the Tanzania perspective, and then we will have a discussion on how that has gone, and the lessons taking something from innovation to scale, which of course is one of the things we try and do very much at Next slide, please. So this will be a short presentation, there's only a few slides, and it's really, we'll look at the following structure. What problem did we seek to solve with this program? How were we able to move along the trajectory from innovation and piloting to scale? And as you'll see in the brochure, there is now a $303 million pipeline of local economic development projects in Tanzania from an original seed of about $1.5 million. That's quite significant. But what are the lessons we have learned from the first phase, which are included in this brochure? And what are the implications? And this part, I think, will cover in the second half of the meeting. So I don't have any particular slides on this, but this will lead us into what are the implications for our business model as UNCDF and for funding models in the finance and development agenda generally, and particularly how to fund the SDGs. So this is the structure of the presentation. Next slide, please. So the Local Finance Initiative really was designed to address three problems. The first problem we wanted to look at is that domestic public and private capital markets are not investing in domestic economies in a way that promotes sustainable and equitable growth. And this actually was quite prescient, because if you look at what's happening today in Africa, domestic economies are actually being posited as one of the future engines of growth. Trade with China fell by 40% in 2015. And we have this phenomenon of the rising dollar. So even though the Addis agenda was about financing the development and FDI, we're actually seeing a decline in FDI. And as the Royal Bank of Scotland chief advisor said, it's not about return on capital in 2016, it's return of capital. And we're seeing an exit of capital from the least developed countries where we were. So this is a crucial issue. The domestic capital markets, pension funds, banks, municipalities, financial service providers. There's a lot of capital in LDCs because they have just finished a decade of unprecedented growth. How to put that capital to productive use? That's one of the problems we tried to solve. Secondly, and consequently, the second problem is local economies are not able at the moment to attract investment, and therefore the benefits of growth are bypassing many populations, because the growth to date has largely been in large agro-industrial, commodity exports, real estate, and specific sectors. There's not been a broad growth with deep roots in various sectors and localities. And finally, the third problem we're trying to solve is, whilst the catalytic projects with high impact in critical areas like women's economic empowerment, climate change, clean energy and food security are there, and they've been there for a long time, people know what needs to be done, it's not possible to attract finance for those, for these catalytic projects, because the finance goes to the high return projects, whereas a catalytic project that gives low return would actually therefore, once you do it, the catalytic effect kicks in and it creates an enabling environment, positive externalities, and you can get more high return projects coming in. These are the three problems we are trying to solve with this program. Next slide, please. So how did we take innovation to scale, and what lessons have we learned? Well, these are the 6 big lessons I think we learned. Firstly, you have to use a deeply rooted core competency. We can't do this with consultants. It's just not possible. And we have deep experience at UNCDF in the capital investment programming at the local level that goes back 50 years. And it is, of course, our 50th anniversary. And every time we tried, a plethora of consultants, that doesn't work. And the program was rebooted a couple of times. Secondly, we pursued ownership in the true meaning of the word rather than the tokenistic meaning of the word. So, this program in Tanzania is truly owned by the President's office, and really owned. So we are their clients. They are seeking to unlock capital from their domestic markets, and we are helping them to do it. This takes time to generate true ownership, and it also requires, to own something, you have to grasp it and take it, and you have to let that happen. So that is another lesson from the piloting phase. You won't get scale up unless that ownership is there, and then you can go to scale. But you won't be able to force scale up without ownership. So consequently, patience. I don't need to say any more patience. All our projects have long gestation periods. And I think that Judith may talk about this when we look at this graph, how we take innovation, consolidation, and scale. It needs patience. Fourthly, an appreciation that the private sector is multifaceted, and this is crucial in the Addis agenda. Everyone let's involve the private sector, and each private sector. The match seller on the street corner, HSBC, a domestic bank, private sector means everything and anything. So let's be specific about what we need. And here we need private sector capital from domestic markets for catalytic projects that have a transformative effect on local economies. That's all private sector, but it's specific elements of private sector. And I think it's very important to be specific about that when we talk about private sector. Otherwise, things can produce outcomes that are not sought or not produce the outcomes. And connected to this is the correct risk-return ratio. Now, when you look through the brochure, starting on page 16, 17, you'll see lots of pictures. I didn't put them in my presentation, but pictures of projects, micro hydropower, cassava processing, bus stations, cashew nut processing, transport facilities, all of which have been chosen to deliver a catalytic effect and crowd in other private sector activities, all of which are public-private partnerships, many of which, although some are actually solely private, and all of which unlock domestic financing from domestic banks. And this is the key target, to get these domestic banks to finance. So you need the correct risk-return ratio. These are not get-rich-quick schemes, but nor are they sunk capital schemes that never deliver a return. They are schemes that deliver a return that enables domestic pension funds and domestic banks to recycle their deposits at a commercial rate, whilst providing this infrastructure in key areas. So how did we do this? A local authority would never be able to borrow $10 million if it was the cost of some of those projects. We did it, and you won't be able to, and an entrepreneur is not going to be able to get hold of the type of scale of financing with some of those projects you will see. We did this by creating special purpose vehicles which are built around solid business models with guaranteed in advance take-off contracts, so that the financer of the project knows for the next 5 to 10 years what the balance sheet will be, what the cash flow will be, with fully fledged markets of forecasting, and then a governance structure in which the bank lends to a governance structure and lends to a company whose sole purpose is to operate the project and repay the loan. So the company keeps focused on that. The company will not diversify into lots of different things and put the loan at risk. So by setting up this special purpose, building, operating and transfer, 10 to 15 year loan, commercial rates, but a governance structure, you can build these catalytic pieces of infrastructure with local governments who are crucial, because you need them to provide the supporting infrastructure in terms of access roads, in terms of land zoning, that makes the private capital viable. So it's a particular concoction, it's a particular recipe, has to be cooked in a particular way, and you can then unlock large sums of money from domestic banks, and in many of these cases without credit enhancement. So this is very important, and it's a deep-seated learning by doing process that we have now really got ready to take to scale. In Tanzania, it has gone to scale because government has requested that all local governments and chambers of commerce work with this program through a national platform for local economic development, and the pipeline is already $303 million. It'll be more than $1 billion shortly, and that's not an exaggeration. That is where we are going. This is innovation, but it's something that took 4 years, and now we hope to take those lessons learned to scale in other countries a little bit faster. Sixth, keep eyes on the prize. We're not being diverted by impact investors who seek higher returns, or by hedge funds who seek different types of projects, or by local authorities that want grants, not loans. We need to keep an eye on the prize. It's a very specific prize, and I think that focus is very important. Has to deliver a return in particular circumstances. Next slide, please. So now we have taken this to scale, and we are able to develop pipelines on particular things. We have a pipeline on food security. We launched the program in Uganda, and we already have over $100 million of projects that will deliver food security measured by a specific impact measurement in terms of food security. And this is the other lesson. The impact measurement is very important for these catalytic projects, because our role as the UN is not to crowd out the private sector or to invest where private sector is already going. We need to pick the high impact projects that are not being financed right now. It's not a crowding out, it's not a competition, we're not trying to do better than an existing venture capital fund. We're trying to take this to the last mile, to those sectors, those localities, those areas where finance is not going. Once that finance comes in, our job is done. We have a food security pipeline in Uganda that is learned from the lessons of Tanzania, and we're opening one in Benin very shortly. Next slide, please. I won't take you through this. It's a lot of graphics there, but this is the structure that we are now developing: women's economic empowerment, climate resilience, food security, local economic development, national platforms for local development finance, and a focus on secondary cities and transformation in rural areas. Next slide, please. Yes, this is our selection criteria. Again, I won't take you through it, but we now have taken these lessons and we are rolling this out in different countries using this selection criteria in terms of which projects, which pipelines, and how to finance them. Next slide, please. That's it. So that is what we have done. Those are the lessons, and we're now expanding this to other countries in Africa and Asia. Before we have the discussion, however, I would like to ask His Excellency Minister Schiller to give a response from the Tanzanian perspective. I mean, I very much spoke from, of course, the perspective of UNCDF. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Moderator, thank you for giving me this opportunity to share Tanzania experience on the local finance initiative. Local finance initiative approach is an important initiative pioneered by UNCDF in Tanzania that has proved to be very useful for meeting economic priorities. LFI helps in improving access to essential services for women and men across the country, and in particular in those regions and towns where there is no enough investment capital flow for building local economies. Basically, this project merges the focus of two contemporary agendas. The Addis Ababa Action Agenda that focuses on the need to mobilize domestic resources, and the 23rd Agenda for Sustainable Development that calls for economic transformation and leaving no one behind. Through this initiative, Tanzania has been able to unlock domestic resources to allow smooth flow towards transforming the standard of life. This has been made possible by channeling funds from Tanzania pension funds and domestic banks to finance essential infrastructure projects at a local level. What is interesting in this is the focus on domestic resources. This is not about improving tax collection. It's about allocating the existing resources, the existing domestic resources towards productive sectors in the local economy. efforts are underway to scale up the adoption of the local financial initiative approach in local governments to enhance capacities of the local authorities to effectively plan, budget, identify, and implement projects with the private sector. These investments will result in increased revenue for local governments and creation of opportunities for quality service delivery, trade, entrepreneurship, jobs, empowerment of women and youth, and the improvement of people's lives. And this way, local finance initiative is becoming a national platform for investment in local infrastructure across the country, across Tanzania. In Tanzania, local financial initiative supports infrastructure projects originated by both public and private developers to different stages of development. These projects this kind of support has been provided for over 30 projects as far, some of which are now in advanced stages, and thus they are ready for investment. Just to give everyone to give you a few examples, to mention just a few of them. We have so-called Kibaba Town Council for Construction of the Modern Commissioners Tenement Market. We have the Mosh Municipal Council for Construction of Modern Commissioners Terminal. The District for Community
UNCDF for hosting this very informative briefing. I think this project is just another one of the very impressive examples of CDF's work. It's very nice to get good news stories at the UN, and I feel like every time you give us a briefing, we get another good news story, so thank you. We are very impressed by the model of UNCDF and using public finance to unlock catalytic investments from the private sector. I think all of us are very familiar with the discussions last year in the 2030 Agenda and Addis, and how necessary this type of financing will be if we even hope to achieve any of the goals that are so ambitious for 2030. I had a very specific question which was about this project, which was in the project selection phase. What is the process by which CDF's technical team works with the government to come up with projects? Does the government, propose districts that have particular needs, and then the technical team creates the projects? Do they come from the communities themselves? What does that pipeline
what are the criteria that you use to determine if a project is feasible or not? And I noticed that in the brochure it said that one of the challenges you face is that some of the projects are not of good quality to be brought to financing institutions. So I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about what exactly are you looking for and what kind of impact CDF experts give to the projects to make them more accessible by financial institutions. And then finally, what the plans are for scaling this to other countries and what kind of funding needs you would need as an institution, as CDF, to be able to scale it to other countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. I'll take a couple more, I think. Anybody else who would like to make any comments or questions? Bangladesh, please.
Thank you for this presentation. The impressive development activities taking place in the different countries. So may I know the Tanzania experience, is it in this data, South Asia or any part of the Asia? And another point for innovation, passions. Here in the slides, what do you mean by passions? Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Maybe one more before we answer the first round. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'll leave the answer to the financing needs of UNCDF to Judith in terms of the first question, but I'll answer the point about the project selection. So yes, and it relates to the patient's point, in fact. So it's different from when the project began to now. So when it began in the incubation phase, of course, many people, institutions, local governments, chambers of commerce, entrepreneurs kind of rushed forwards with countless projects. So this is where keeping the eye on the prize becomes important, because there's two processes that needed to take place. First, do they stand up on their financial feet? And one of the staff in the project, I can tell within 5 minutes of talking to somebody whether he's serious or not, or she's serious or not. So we had to have a tough grilling in that sense. But not only do they stand on their own financial feet, also, are they the type of project that should be supported by a UN initiative called Local Finance Initiative? If they're the kind of thing that is likely to be picked up by a bank anyway, then it's not our role to support it. So that's a second selection process. And then thirdly, if they do stand on their own financial feet, they're not going to be picked up by a bank anyway. Do they have a catalytic effect? Because maybe they don't have that catalytic effect either. So we have these three kind of criteria in the initial phase. Is there a catalytic impact effect? Do they stand on their own financial feet? And are they not going to be picked up by any other source of finance in the medium term? So it really is what we call last mile finance. And that's very important. We are not seeking to duplicate the work that others are doing and others should do. It's not our added value. So that was in the initial phase. And then as it becomes more institutional, you start to see that through chambers of commerce and through local governments, there are already established local economic development plans, regional plans, area development plans, and sitting in those plans are projects, programs, ideas that have often been around for a long time for a very good reason, because they serve a need. And they've been identified either by the private sector, by chambers of commerce, or by the public sector, or most often by both, as something catalytic. If only we could get a bus station and a transport hub here, and if only that river could be tapped into to provide a source of hydropower, if only we had a sort of way of adding value to our cassava here, where it's warehoused, before we take it on, if only we could add value locally. So these things, the ideas have been around for a long time, but there's reasons why they haven't been financed, because they're the type of thing that needs this type of catalytic financing to make them happen. They're not the get-rich-quick projects, and they're not safe houses for the pension funds and institutional investors now who prefer real estate and offshore where they know the return. So they need a bit of work to work them up. And those are the ones that we are targeting. So now it's become even more mature. We now actually have specific thematic pipelines. And if you could go back to the slides, if you still there, if you still go back to one of the slides where you can see the different pipelines. So as the program has developed, we now have 4 specific pipelines: women's economic empowerment, climate resilience and clean energy, food security, and local economic development. And in each of those 4, we have specific impact measures together with the relevant bodies. For example, in women's economic empowerment, we are working with UN Women and UNDP to specifically measure the impact of projects in that area. And this goes beyond do they employ women. It's actually, are they unlocking the blockages in that local economy to women's economic empowerment? Sometimes that's transport, sometimes it's security, sometimes it's unpaid child work, sometimes it's access to the labour market, sometimes it's a processing plant for a type of industry that women are working in already, but they're not able to take the value to the next level. So there's specific impact in women's economic empowerment. So we're now able to calculate that in those 4 thematic areas. Really, it's all about market failure. We try to address areas of market failure, and that's the key area. Now, the second question, and maybe linked to Bangladesh about plans to take it to other countries. The program actually already is now operational in Bangladesh, in Benin, in Uganda, and in Tanzania. So there are 4 countries whose governments have signed up to the program, and we hope that will increase over the next couple of years to reach half of the LDCs, maybe in 3 or 4 years' time, if we can secure the requisite funding. And that's something that Judith will talk about. There are some LDCs that are not really compatible if they're in conflict, but we hope stable LDCs with compatible economies, which are most LDCs now, we hope to reach at least half. We're also in talks with the government of Laos, which will be the second Asian country after Bangladesh, and Nepal may follow in Asia. In Africa, Senegal is also discussed with and documented in Australia. Now, what do we mean by patience, just finally? It means so many ways. I think, firstly, you need patience to persuade the domestic banks and domestic pension funds that they should invest in their own local economies. They will at first say, no way, everybody's corrupt, it's not going to work, forget it. It's a long and patient discussion for them to see the benefits of this. But once they see those benefits, they become instant converts because they see it builds fiscal space, it actually builds clients, it is a more resilient and safer way of investing their excess liquidity, there's no exchange rate risks, etc., etc. But it's a patient process. It also needs a lot of patience to put together the deals that are bankable, because it's last mile finance. It's where the money's not going right now. It can take 2 to 3 years to structure these deals. And we hope that as things develop and as the habits, the culture, and the tools of analysis grow, then it will speed up. Because this kind of project finance is quite common in developed countries, but it's very rare in developing countries unless it's for huge projects. So we're taking it down to the local level. So the skills need to be there to do that. And that also requires patience. And there are various other ways in which patience is needed, but there are two examples of how it's a patient process. But it's one that has an exponential speed up. The further you go, the quicker it speeds up. I hope I answered all the questions. Maybe over to you, Julie. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the first part of this discussion, and I think it leads us very logically into the second part. So we'll try and move through this relatively quickly so that we can also leave more space for discussion afterwards. First slide, please, Fernando. So just to recap what we're talking about for innovation to scale for us as an institution, because we about UNCDF as an institution with a specific business model and a specific financial model, what we need to make this work. And LFI is, of course, one example, but now we turn to talking about, as an institution, how it needs to work across our entire portfolio, which is about local development finance and financial inclusion. And remarkably, many of these lessons and criteria are relevant to all of the work that we do. So equally so for innovating and growing our portfolios at the country level for countries in the area of local development finance and making that sustainable and magnetic, if you will, for other investors to crowd into that local space, as much so as for financial inclusion, which is also about bringing in changing attitudes towards saving, towards the capacity of poor people to save, towards the potential that that market can present to financial service providers who might be interested in risking upfront a little bit of capital and a little bit of equity to make those products and those populations a viable service segment for them in their local economies. So having the right staff on the ground is one of the key components of making this possible. It can't be done, as David said, by itinerant subcontractors, consultants. It really needs boots on the ground and folks who are able to understand and know the partners on the ground. And that's the government partners, that's the private sector partners, that's the investor partners, that's the other international partners, and certainly UNDP and the UN country team. So that investment in boots on the ground over a sustained period of time is what builds confidence, it's what builds credibility, and it's what creates the traction to create the kind of leverage that we talk about at a program like LFI, where an investment of UNCDF core and non-core resources of, say, $3 to $4 million yields a portfolio of $300 million, small infrastructure programs that will be closed by domestic banks. And you can't do that without having people there doing the due diligence, gaining the credibility, swinging the deals. Second is the expertise. So you have people on the ground, but that needs to be deeply expert people. It doesn't just come because you know how to do a project or you know how to build a bridge. It's not about a coincidental knowledge of how infrastructure works, because what we're doing is we're actually, at the same time as we're developing new product lines or new partnerships around each individual initiative, we're also changing the nature of the market. We're also trying to restructure the nature of that local economy around that investment to make that bus terminal now a new hub for economic activity that will then draw in and create a magnet for opportunities for poor and excluded households to have business engagement with their local economies that they didn't have before. So it's a change dynamic. So deep expertise in how these dynamics can work. Sufficiency, capital, and resources. David didn't talk about this aspect of it so much, but it's equally true in LFI as others to have the capital investment up front that is frequently needed to make these investments viable for local banks and domestic investors, or foreign investors for that matter. So frequently it requires an upfront capital investment, potentially a first loss investment. Usually we're using grants, but really in a longer term expanded version, you could see us using reimbursable grants, loans, guarantees. We could really be using all of the instruments in our toolbox to be making these investments viable and attractive for investors, and we should be using, and I'll refer back to this later in my comments. And then finally, time, which is the patience factor. And again, patience is also is maybe most about the patience that this is cultural change. All of the work that we do is about changing behavior. It's changing behavior behaviors of households, about how they save and use their excess liquidity at the household level. And yes, even poor families have excess liquidity at the household level. It's about how they perceive the financial sector, how they perceive financial service providers, how the public sector, in the case of LFI, perceives the role of the private sector as a partner in local infrastructure. So you need to be able to bring an understanding together between public and private sector to build public-private partnerships and to be able to use blended finance as an effective and viable way to drive these kinds of investments. So there's a lot of cultural change when you're trying to bring larger scale behavioral change into these new models. So that all takes patience. Next slide. So this is our maturity model that we refer to. This really permeates our entire portfolio. We innovate, we bring new ideas, we greenfield, we take an idea from this country and we bring it into a new country with new setting, new rules, new regulation, new policy, new cultural norms, and so on. So innovating, come up with a new idea, find a new idea that we think might be applicable in a different setting. See a new technology whose distribution and dissemination is not possible without financial intermediation. And no one is looking at the financial intermediation role because all they're looking at is the new technology. And so it means it can't get implanted at the local government level or at the poor household level because no one's looking at the financial intermediation. So we're looking at the innovation point where finance and financial intermediation can bring that thing to fruition in the local economy. Then once you've innovated, that needs to be consolidated. You've learned, you've pulled the good out of that innovation, and then you start to systematize it, you institutionalize it, you turn it into policies, you turn it into processes, you turn it into institutions. And maybe you test it out in a couple more provinces in a country to show that it really is scalable and replicable. And then once you've done that, you scale. And that's where the big leverage comes in. That's where we're actually, as UNCDF, trying to step away. Where we're saying this is where the market forces have to come in to where we need to create a conducive environment for market forces to be able to scale this, be they the big, IFIs coming in to scale it up, or domestic investors, or banks providing additional capitalization for financial services that we capitalized in the initial innovation phase. Okay, so the scale up is we want to be there, we want to caretake it, we want to see it happen, we want to facilitate it, but we also want to get out of the way. Next slide, please. So how does this translate into our model? And how does all of this work together? Our current funding window is up until the end of 2015. We have four vehicles. We've always used four vehicles, and in combination, they allow us to move through this maturity model, innovation, consolidation, scale. Core, our ambition, $25 million per year. Flexible non-core, which has been the best complement to core for us in terms of the flexibility it gives us to direct resources to where they're most needed and where countries are most ready, was this partnership framework, and we'll talk more about that. Earmarked non-core, which you're all, I assume, very familiar with, which tends to be a preferred way to go, and certainly for us a bountiful source of resources, which is directed into our thematic and country programs through earmarkings. And then what we've referred to as our booster investment fund, which is the capital fund that provides the seed capital for the kinds of innovations that we're talking about. Okay? So 2016 going forward, what does that look like? We are still maintaining the same target of core $25 million per year. And let me be very clear that there is a cap on that. We do need the $25 million. We're nowhere close to it. We do need it to be in the 40 LDCs that our strategic framework intends. But we don't need more than that if the other funding is flowing, even if it's flowing the way it has been. So the $25 million is a real $25 million. And it's not something that changes if we get more investment capital or if we get more non-core. It is a fixed amount, but it is a critical mass amount for what UNCDF needs to be in 40 LDCs. Then again, flexible non-core, we have a successor arrangement called the Last Mile Finance Trust Fund, which will be earmarked non-core stays the same as it always has been. And the Booster Investment Fund will become an LDC investment fund, which again is a successor fund for seed capital, the capital fund part, not the exclusive source of capital funding, but the main capital fund part of the UN Capital Development Fund. Next slide, please. So the core, it's the organizational backbone, it's the risk capital. Without the core, we could not have started LFI in Tanzania because it created the expertise on the ground. It started the process of developing the relationships with the local governments, identifying the projects and with the banks, and with the potential for the public-private partnerships. It frequently allows us to do, it's the only vehicle by which we can do the greenfielding, where we can move into new environments and try out a new idea, because that is high risk, and it's only our core donors who tend to want to take that level of high risk, because they know, that we're trying something that may not work. We'll always learn from it, but we're trying something that may not work from the outset. It allows us to maintain world-class expertise. We're recognized for it in our two main areas, local development finance and financial inclusion. We're not doing this just because we had a passing knowledge of microfinance or a passing knowledge of infrastructure development. We've been deep in it. We've been deep in it for decades, and we are considered at the cutting edge of those two fields. We're very focused and we're very clear about what our ion prize is. Our standards of effectiveness, transparency, and monitoring. Core pays for us to exercise strong monitoring and oversight, to be rated among the top 2 or 3 in the Smart 8 Index year after year for our financial inclusion work, and to be a recognized high-quality provider of services in our 2 areas. And very importantly, and this is where we really lose ground with the loss of core, is that meeting our core target allows us to have a robust rather than a very tiny project presence at the country level. And too much of our portfolio right now is very fragile and very fragmented. And frequently we hear from governments and from UNDP, from UN resident coordinators and UNDP res reps, where are you? We know you're here in the country, but we need you here as part of the central conversation on strategy and on how to drive inclusive growth at the local level. But we've got some project persons sitting out, way outside of the capital, because that's all we can afford, because we don't have the core resources to provide the robust presence. Next slide, please. Flexible non-core, the last mile finance trust fund. Very briefly, we will be launching this shortly. You will all be getting a communication on it, and you will be learning about it. This is the vehicle by which LFI was able, for instance, the predecessor program, the PIFIS, it was the vehicle by which we could supplement the initial seed capital coming from the core and ensure that there was a capacity to really bring it to a meaningful scale, to provide support in more than just one locality in Tanzania, and to be able to supplement with a much stronger engagement with a wider range of partners and make it a more impactful program, along with the seed capital, which I'll talk about in a moment, from our 4th facility. So the new trust fund will be focused on green economy, food security and nutrition, empowering women and youth, infrastructure and services, and financial inclusion platforms, including new innovations and new technologies. That's what I have referred to about the space where financial intermediation can be the make or break of bringing new technologies into the local economic space. Clean energy, new waste management systems, water cleaning systems. We'll also have a country expansion window that will allow us to move into countries that are not already foreseen in our thematic programs. So one of the greatest missing links in our LDC presence right now, if we're relying on leveraged resources, is our presence in crisis-affected countries. Without core, it's almost impossible for us to be able to establish ourselves in crisis-affected countries that have viable business business models living in those countries. So the country expansion window is designed to supplement what we have in the core, for instance, to allow us to jumpstart our program in North Kivu and DRC, or get something going in the Central African Republic, or Mali, or follow up the program that we had to walk away from in Liberia, and a range of other crisis-affected settings. Or to be able to take the experience we had on digital finance to pay health workers during the Ebola crisis and use that experience to respond to wider crisis-related opportunities in the application of digital finance. Next slide, please. Earmarked non-core, we all, I think, are very familiar with that, so that's a continued opportunity to provide directed earmarked resources to themes and country programs. Next slide, please. And finally, the LDC investment fund, which is how we provide catalytic seed funding to prime the pump for domestic and foreign investor uptake, and that's where what the booster fund in the past was able to do for LFI and a host of other programs, and what the investment fund will be able to do, and our intention there is to launch the LDC investment fund as the successor to the booster fund before June of this year. Next slide, please. The implications on our results and impact, which we will be talking more about in our midterm review that we will present to you in June, is that without the investment in the two blue spheres, the core and the country expansion window of the new LMF Trust Fund, we are largely limited to operating where the earmarked financing is going to the global thematic initiatives and the individual country programs. Right now, we are present in 31 countries with a fragile project-related foothold in many. Some of those programs are country programs, the rest are based on global thematics, which cover 28 countries. And without a strong push on the core and the country expansion window, we would be at risk of going down well below 25 countries by the end of 2016 at the rate of current projections. Instead, we would like to be heading up towards a presence in 40 LDCs as an expression of support to the beginning of the Agenda 2030, the midterm review of the Istanbul Program of Action, and the ambitions of the LDCs to pursue the graduation targets for 2020 and beyond. Next slide, please. The midterm review will therefore be presenting to you the annual progress against our outputs and outcomes, a midterm review of our strategic framework and the results and resources framework, including that relationship between resources and our maturity model and our ability to be present in the LDCs, and it will have a strong component based on evaluations and reviews to date and what they mean for the future. Of course, we will be also reviewing the implications of Agenda 2030, the Addis Ababa Action Agenda, and the COP21, among others, and the IPOA. We feel we're already pretty well aligned with those. We had those very much in mind and have, in certain sense, been somewhat prescient about what blended finance and public-private partnership models look like. But of course, we will also review the implications of those. We will be introducing some revisions to our strategic framework, particularly the results and resources framework. We know, for instance, that we need to undertake a wholesale sex disaggregation of the indicators in that framework, which we did not do at the outset of the strategic framework, and they are in other reviews. And we will commit to presenting to you a preliminary presentation of the midterm review findings well before the June session, so we can already have an exchange on that. So thank you very much for listening. I would very much welcome the comments of our next speaker. Per, if I may turn it over to you, and thank you so much for being here, and please go ahead.
Thank you, for inviting me and for all the fantastic work you're doing in resources. I actually agree with the comment by the US that it's always positive to meeting or discussing CDF. So I've been asked to give a sort of perspective on the work that you're doing, and we've come to the conclusion that in many aspects, but perhaps the 2030 agenda really calls for a new approach to partnerships. The ODA will of course continue to play role in certain countries be a very important catalytic instrument, but it's still only a relatively marginal portion of the global financial flows. Therefore, the mobilization of domestic capital, we talk about foreign direct investment in partnership with enterprises of all kinds and all sizes will be crucial to whether or not we actually manage to succeed in having a more sustainable approach. Key challenge in relation to the implementation of the agenda is to create the necessary conditions for mobilizing the private sector and domestic finance. And here, the work of the UNCDF really proves that ODA, if it's used strategically, can act as a catalyst to crowd in domestic resources, both public and private. So the benefits of economic growth will probably not be transformative unless they're channeled to local communities. Local infrastructure is necessary to increase productive capacity, which in turn is necessary for both job creation and development. And just to take an example, last mile finance, feeder roads that connect the local community to the structural transformation is an important part of the process of graduating from the status as LDC. Improve mechanisms to recycle both private and public domestic resources into the local economy, such as the ones that the UNCDF is working on, are key also to unlocking transformative growth. Our International Development Cooperation Agency, CEDA, in 2012 signed a partnership agreement with the UNCDF on inclusive growth and sustainable development, EFIS, which encompasses 8 UNCDF global initiatives, including the Local Finance Initiative. We feel that the flexible funding this initiative provide enable the UNCDF to take this innovative mechanism from proof to concept, to consolidation, and now to scale up. It allowed the UNCDF to remain in the game as long as it took to convince the banks discussed to provide investments for much needed local infrastructure, and also enable them to work with local governments to fund construction bandwidth projects which have a deep reaching impact. This provided the seed capital to enable other funders also to and these investments, which is important to note, were also de-risked through due diligence done through the technical assistance that the UNCDF can provide both to the investors and to the promoters. The
much for the explanation you platform. So that's
Thank you very much for this very interesting presentation. I'm local from the Netherlands, and I'm looking forward to my tax capital. I'm very interested in more about funds. You said something about the local coordinator wanting to come UNCDF to capital to work with the team, with the UN team. And I wonder if you could elaborate a bit more on the integration of the efforts of the UNCDF into the rest of the development efforts in the country, and to what extent the efforts are aligned with basically in the.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Rob from Chinese Fusion. Thank you very much for UNCDF giving us this brief presentation. It's very useful and very clear. And China very, encourage of the UNCDF to give more of the support to LDC countries. Because personally, I'm working in the LDC countries for many years, so I think it's really the local people and it's really need the support from our UN development group. But as I know that because even in the LDC countries, they have a very low objective. I think that they need resources, they need skills, and all of the things. And so when we give the seed capital to the local communities, it's very, very precious to them. But because China also do the social cooperation, we have the similar project that we have the loans, no interest, we have the grants, but also we meet the problem that how to at the beginning and David talked about how to control the risk and return crucial. So I want to know about how the UNCDF do all these areas. And also the second question is about you mentioned thank you very much Ambassador, and you mentioned about the partnership and social cooperation, regular cooperation. Yes, we think we have a very huge space and opportunity to work with UNCDF. I don't think that UNCDF will have some ideas to working in this area too, because we want to be targeted and maybe we have to create new service to implement SDGs to work on social cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you very much for these comments. So the first question on the investment fund. We work with a combination of different tools and instruments across all of our programs. And as a capital fund, because we are a UN capital development fund, our primary goal is to work on making finance work for the poor. So part of making finance work for the poor means providing seed capital and de-risking the environment so that finance will flow more freely through local economies. So we're focused really on the last mile, where finance otherwise is. For us, that tends to take two major forms to make that happen. One form is the more standard kind of technical assistance that you might be accustomed to. Technical assistance, in our case, apply to the question of effectiveness of financial intermediation at the local level. So one way that we use the resources provided to us is to try to find entry points where we can help recraft the way finance is flowing at the local level through the kinds of initiatives that we talked about. But the other way is to actually mimic what a high-performing, working financial sector would look like if it were working well. And that is by using our capital to do the things that in more advanced economies finance is doing on its own. Okay, so we are using we will be presenting the framework for this LDC investment fund as a successor arrangement to what we used to call our booster investment fund. Same purpose, same general purpose, but more instruments being used in it to precisely use our capital as UNCDF to show how it should be done, how it can be done. One way to illustrate that, other than how we do it in the LFI, is for the work we've been doing for decades in fiscal decentralization, where, for instance, in a functioning decentralized system, government is passing a certain amount of its public resources through to the local level so that they can be applied to the priorities, the development priorities in the local space. In the absence of public resources flowing through that, we use our capital resources in the form of block grants to mimic what that system would look like. When a government decides that that's a model, and we help build the models and the systems around that to make that work, that's the technical assistance portion. When a government decides to adopt that, we go into a consolidation stage of our maturity model, which is about developing the systems, processes, institutions, and partnerships to embed that in the national systems. And then the scale up might be a World Bank, it might be a government, taking its own fiscal resources and passing it through those models. But we've used our capital to seed it and to demonstrate and to de-risk and to reassure that it can work, it does work, and it is something worthy of investing. So that's the portion, it's that seed capital portion that the investment fund serves. Did you want to add something to that?
Just briefly, one very concrete example, what Judith just talked about, is with regard to the Green Climate Fund. At the meeting of the Green Climate Fund next week, they will be looking at the application of the government of Cambodia for direct access to the Green Climate Fund. It's been telling us Wednesday next week. This is to implement one of the programs that we use the Booster Fund seed capital for, which was to demonstrate how through fiscal decentralization, exactly as Judith has described, the local level and local governments can build and maintain climate resilient infrastructure. So we demonstrated that working now in Cambodia. Cambodia is a high climate risk country. All the roads, bridges, everything needed for private sector activity needs to be upgraded. The irrigation systems, the water storage, the drainage, it all needs to be upgraded because the weather has completely changed. That responsibility falls to local governments, and we have developed an effective way of doing it, cost effective, no waste, and Cambodia is now applying to the Green Climate Fund to scale this up through direct access at the local level. And that is a use of this booster fund, the seed capital and the core, $700,000 core was put in to make that happen. So it's another example in the field of climate change and how we're able to scale up.
In terms of UNCDF's integration, that's a great question, and it's something that I spend a lot of time worrying about. Because, as I mentioned, it is one of the casualties of the weakness of our core. What tends, just to be very concrete about, is just so you have a picture in your head of what happens. When we have a healthy core, our presence in a country sits in the UNDP office as a direct support to the UNDP resident representative and implants us in the UNDAP process, in the core conversation with the government, and in the core conversation with the UN country team. And it lends our expertise to that conversation. When we lose the core, we no longer can afford to pay for that person sitting in the UNDP office, very concretely. So what ends up happening is it's earmarked non-core to an LFI program that's sitting out in Kilimanjaro, in Tanzania, working on hydropower plants and bus terminals and so on, rather than making the relay back to the UNDP office to make sure that we're central. So we are certainly in every place where we have an ongoing activity, project, program. We engage to the best of our ability and are ensuring that we are reflected in the UNDF. And of course, our counterpart is still the government. All of our financial inclusion work is with the central banks and the Ministry of Finance, and likewise with local development. But the embeddedness and our ability to give our expertise to the rest of the UN system and to the wider dialogue with the government absolutely takes a hit with the reduction in the core. And it is one of my big worries, because with the 2030 agenda, my feeling is the UNCDF has a tremendous win-win to offer the UN country team, the UNDP. We have more than half of our programs are joined with UNDP, so that partnership is absolutely critical to our success. And to a robust conversation with LDC governments about how this kind of local development transformation can help them achieve inclusive growth patterns for graduation targets in the context of the Istanbul Program of Action. So that embeddedness is critical to us. And when we went through our reprofiling exercise last year, because our architecture was simply costing us too much to afford given the downturn in the core, it is that kind of country presence and regional presence that we had to reduce in order to maintain a project presence at the country level. The next step, if core does not recover, will be to start cutting even that project presence down to the countries where we know we can have a robust approach to the maturity level. We don't want to go into a country just with innovation if we don't think we can stay the course through the scale. It's not worth it because we lose the integrity of the model. We only want to go in for innovation if we know that we can stay the course. So we won't split the maturity model. The only other place we can cut if we won't split the maturity model is the number of places where we try and do that. And that's why the number of countries ends up getting reduced if we can't meet the core target. And to our delegate from China, thank you so much for your comments. I would like to suggest that we have a follow-on discussion. I think there's a lot for us to talk about, a lot of common interests, and we'd be very, very eager to pursue our discussions with you afterwards, including to talk about how the LFI deals with these issues of risk and return, which are key. So thank you all so very much. Thank you very much to our panelists, excellencies. I very much enjoyed this, and I look forward to our next round. We'll have a series of these events to continue to share lessons. We're coming up with reviews and lessons from a number of our different initiatives over the course of this year, and we'll make sure that we continue to invite you in for those discussions as we go. We'll have a March, April,